So a lot of times I get asked in these podcasts, and this could be a contrarian, definitely a contrarian view. Hey, what was your best business book? And I think it's a bad question.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of PowPod, brought to you by NoRamp. Today, I have another amazing guest on the show, Ross Buhrdorf, founder and CEO of ZenBusiness. Ross, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Ben. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you on the show. Really excited to chat. I want to start with I want to get your background, of course, and tell the audience who you are. But before that, I want to tell a quick story before I forget. When I started my first company, I was looking to find a way to create an LLC. I was tasked with that.
Mhm.
And I had absolutely no idea where to start. Long story short, I found ZenBusiness, and it was one of the cleanest experiences for a 22-year-old who had no idea what he was doing to go through. So thank you for building such a great product.
Well, great. I'm glad you enjoyed it. That's the goal of the product, is to help everybody to launch, run, and grow their business. So good to hear. Great to hear.
It was certainly a great experience having no idea. So just want to say that before I forget. And now, please tell the audience who you are.
Well, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've been kind of at this from the very beginning. Even when I was a young kid, I was, always wanting to start a business and out on my own, whether it was shoveling sidewalks in Nebraska to running, high tech startups like I am today. Went to school at University of Texas, have a engineering degree in software engineering, and quickly got into startups. Was at Excite.com, at Tandem Computers, at was one of the founding CTO at HomeAway, the vacation rentals. Took that through all the fundraising and then the IPO, and then sold it for $3.9 billion to Expedia, and took some time off after that. I made it about 10 months, and then I started this thing 6.5 years ago, and we've been on a wild ride ever since. Raised $285 million at a $1.7 million post valuation, over 500,000 customers, and continuing to grow fantastically.
Yeah, you've had a really wild journey. You've been in tech for a while, startups, building companies, and think looking at your background, I know entrepreneurs come from all around the world. They come from less known places. They also come from some of the biggest cities in the world. I've got to say, I've never heard of a founder coming from Lincoln, Nebraska. How do you get into startups and tech coming from there?
Well, I mean, I went to school at the University of Nebraska, and then my sister moved down to Austin, Texas, and said things are booming down here, and I was starving to death in Lincoln, Nebraska, and so I got an internship at Data General, at the time, a microcomputer company like DEC equipment, and got an internship, got residency, and then finished up my education at University of Texas. And I think I just hit everything as far as the tech growth in Austin. I worked for companies in Silicon Valley that were both in Silicon Valley and Austin, and that's really how I got my start. But I think, for me, Ben, entrepreneurship is not so much about a location as it is about, a mentality, and the mentality, gets you to a place, if it's a geographical location, which is less important nowadays, but certainly important. When I was moving up, you gravitate to what you want to do. I'm always been an engineer at heart, and technology just happened to be the medium for me. But it's really this mentality of, do you want to build something and add value to the world?
Absolutely. Were you into computers before like formal schooling?
Yeah, yeah. Computers was something that I was interested in from the very beginning, and so that was a natural for me. Remember, hey, listen, Warren Buffett's from Omaha, Nebraska. That's just 50 miles away. So,
Oh yeah, no, I'm not talking poorly on Nebraska. Don't you worry about that. It's one of those places that you don't hear of people from other than Warren, of course.
mhm.
Yeah. No, that's amazing though. And there's there's a frame of mind or a theory or a term that I heard about in regards to something that led to your success, which I think is really interesting. Tell me about neuro linguistic programming.
Oh, wow. NLP. That's a long time back. I mean, I just think I did some training in NLP a ways back. I think it's just a communication method, how to get rapport, really, which is a big part of what we do as entrepreneurs, both selling, your vision, whether it's to investors or to other employees or to your customer, the ultimate challenge and the ultimate point of the value exchange. You just need to have a good, deep understanding of communication, and that's the way I view it. And I think that helped me early on. I mean, some of it's, I mean, I think like so many other things, you have the experience, geez, that makes sense, but I think they codified it a little better. And so you could maybe have a deeper understanding of why certain things work, why some things don't work. Some of it's, deeper science than pseudoscience, but that's really reaching a ways back. I've forgotten more about that than I remember.
Not a problem. Yeah, it's one of those. I heard you talk about it in another interview, which I thought was really
Yeah.
interesting. For the prospective entrepreneurs out there, you talked about selling a vision. In terms of validating a business idea,
Mhm.
is there a single more important thing than a customer actually putting down money even before a product's built, for example?
Uh, well, if you've listened to my stuff before, my answer would be no. I mean, I think that, as far as, I mean, there's a whole bunch of things that are important, but ultimately where the rubber hits the road is, will a customer exchange money for what you're selling, what you're offering? And I call it the value exchange. So, and you want to be given more than you're getting. You want to be amplifying your side of the value exchange for the customer. And you're ultimately after solving, their problem. What problem are you solving for them? Not, have I convinced them to buy my product? That's not the game. The ultimate is, well, they put in their credit card to solve their problem that you can solve. And the more you do that, the better off you are. So when young entrepreneurs come to me and say, what should I be spending? Here's my problem, this or that, the other. And if you haven't got customers giving you money, or you're not focused on that, then you're focused on the wrong thing. And then, once you've sold them, then are they going to renew? How are you doing that? Are they, activating the product? Are they using the product? It's all this continuous motion of value. So I think that's the most important thing. You know, all this other stuff is important, and you can read books or hire people, or and use your experience, which I have a bunch of. And I won't even go as far as product market fit, because early on, you're just trying to get someone to put a credit card in. As the founders at ZenBusiness, I certainly would lay a bed at night and say, "Oh my, help me, power in the sky, please get some customers to put their credit card in." And that's the start. If someone will put a credit card, okay, what? Then we'd call them up, the people that did and the people that didn't put the credit. Why did you do it? What did you like? We'd be interviewing them, and we still do that today.
That's kind of what I was hinting at with that question. I knew that was going to be your answer, of course.
I knew that was going to be my answer. That's my answer is go after customers.
Nothing really matters because every one of your family members or friends, even people who aren't customers yet that are just kind of seeing the product, they'll say it's
Mm-hmm.
amazing. They'll say, "Oh, this is so cool what you're doing. You're spending your time on." but no one, especially when you're
Mhm.
speaking with prospective customers, nothing actually matters
Mhm.
until they put their credit card.
Mhm. Yeah, agreed. And just to give you more support of that, Ben, is we do a ton of research. We continue to do research. We believe in research, but you'll find some research. Geez, customers really want this. We really need to solve this problem. But if you get it out of sequence in their journey as a customer, and you go, well, the customer said that, all the survey results points to they want this, but nobody's putting their credit card in. What's the deal? Okay, well, there's something else. It's not until, maybe it was the wrong timing for when they're in their business. Do customers want to buy, uh, you know, um, an advanced feature early on when they're just trying to get their business up and running? Probably not. They might see it as important, but it might be out of sequence. And so ultimately, the rubber hits the road is, when you transact with them.
It's amazing. You see so many things that can kill startups, that kind of stop companies and people from building businesses before they even get going. And you just mentioned one of them, timing. There's maybe you have the right product, but the user experience isn't clean. Or there's a feature in the overall product that is actually the most valuable asset. That's what happened with, you could talk about like Slack, for example, their
Oh
messaging
yeah.
tool. That's what actually happened with my company. The previous company was a marketplace that turned into a payment widget. So these things, they happen. So just getting to that point of customers paying for something is an immense accomplishment in itself.
Yeah, I agree with that, Ben, and I think this is another thesis that we practice at Zen Business is always seek the truth. So don't get we I'm emphatic about it in that absolutely we're investing in our brand. Absolutely, we love our customers, and we will do anything to make them happy and successful. But don't get, so invested in the product that it's more important than the customer, or it's more important than the truth, or it's more important than, geez, I thought I was building a marketplace, but man, we're really getting a lot of strong signal around a payment widget. Maybe we should go in this direction. So, for us, it's always follow the truth and face the truth. Whether it's ugly, the ugly truth in many cases. And the sooner you do that, the better off you are, because you're not really, unless you've got some kind of ego problem where you have to be right, which is the death of companies. You need to go after the value that you're creating for the customer and the problem you're solving for them.
I hear so many VCs on podcasts talk about, especially early stage VCs, when they're funding businesses, they know that the problem or the exact solution that they're solving for is going to change, whether it's where the market they're going after. There's a million things that will change in between the time of investing to an outcome or death of the company.
You bet. Absolutely. The more willing you are to, you know, revisit the challenges and look at the data, the better off you're going to be. Because you're going to have to do it sooner or later. You should do it sooner.
Ideally sooner, right? Yeah.
Yeah, really sooner.
And then going way farther in time in the journey of a startup, talking about acquisitions. You mentioned you were the founding CTO of HomeAway, which was essentially the original Airbnb. $3.9 billion acquisition. That's massive. You were there from obviously the very beginning all the way to an awesome acquisition. I want to hear about that experience. What starting that journey all the way to the end. Yeah, just chat about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a fantastic experience. It really, and it built on all of my career prior to that. I was at excite.com, a big search engine in the start of the internet. So I had a lot of big scale, big software, big teams, hard problems, dealing with a lot of innovation. So it was a perfect fit for me when I came over to HomeAway. This was just much like I've used a lot of what I've learned there, taken it forward at Zen Business. Just really a great uh, problem to solve. I mean, what could be better than vacation rentals? And it was such a great value proposition. Because when families don't want to go to hotels, they can have a house in a destination that's just a much better experience, and more than that, even usually a better value for them also. So really a great product, and a great value exchange. The minute I saw that, I was like, this thing is going to be a winner. You just, everyone, you can see it, like, why hasn't someone thought of this already? And us rolling up all of these vacation rentals into a great big marketplace was the real innovation, and taking it global was the real innovation. So the owner of a vacation rental could put their property on HomeAway and then have distribution across the planet. So the travelers knew where to go to get a great vacation. They'd go to HomeAway, and the owners would get the biggest distribution, or the biggest amount of eyeballs. So that was really the value prop, and us being able to package that up and consolidate all of that into the world's largest marketplace was it sounds simple. All good ideas sound simple in the end, and that's a sure sign of a winning idea. Man, all of the technology and work, and the 28 plus offices across the planet, and all of the work and acquisition, was a lot of work, and a lot of technology platforms pulled together. So um, I learned about that, did all of that, built those platforms and product, and really learned how to scale a big team, and put me in a good spot for where I am now. I always tell everyone, you haven't asked the question, geez, Ross, how'd you go from CTO to CEO? I mean, I knew I didn't want to be the CTO again. That's for damn sure. I didn't want to do that again. I'd already done it. So I guess CEO was my last stop. And so, I needed to do that. No one was going to hire me as a first time CEO. Um, so I just created my own company, and did it.
It's funny. I was just going to ask about transitioning from CTO to CEO. Right before that, in terms of the acquisition, what was the worst part of that whole process?
Oh, being bought by Expedia? Yeah, nothing. I don't think. I mean, they've come back and said it was their best acquisition ever. We'd went public before that, and this was a great exit for everybody. I don't have any negative things to say about Expedia or any of that. I mean, I think it was all fine. It was a great acquisition for them. I mean, we were. I mean, when you're an acquisition and you've already been public, I mean, we were a robust, tied together company in many ways. The technology that we built is still at play at Expedia. I mean, in many ways we were more advanced than them. In other ways we weren't. So it was a good fit.
No, for sure. And then so yes, you left home away because of course it got acquired by Expedia, and you became a CEO. You've talked about before how you would much rather be a CTO than a CEO. It's much harder to be a CEO. Sorry, it is much harder to be a CTO. Um, explain, please.
Oh yeah. And I think, yeah, I mean, I think maybe that's I think I was a good CTO because of the engineering background, and software experience and technology experience, most certainly. But I was also a pretty scaled up CTO, vision guy, getting teams to work together to produce products. um, so I was more on that spectrum of a a visionary CTO as opposed to a techno, extremely technical CTO. I was an extremely technical software engineer early on, but I quickly went into management. So, and leadership from that point of view. So, and I've always been a team building guy. So it was a natural transition for me to go into CEO. And I think, you don't know you're good at it until you do it. Everybody says I'm doing a pretty good job. Indication of it, I'm enjoying it. There were a lot of things that were frightening that I didn't know how to do, but I've made it through those things and come out the other side. I mean, I guess and it's hard to say. Do you have a regret you hadn't done it sooner? It's hard for me to say that because I don't know if I would have been able to be as competent or as perceived competent as I am without having gone through that. There's a lot of stuff that I take for granted that I either learned from previous CEOs like Brian Sharples from HomeAway or Carl or that team from there. I always pay attention. I'm always trying to learn, and I'm always willing to learn and willing to take on a challenge and not get too excited about whether I can do it or not. Just plow ahead. So that's been it. So far, so good. I'm enjoying it. I'm having fun. I'm learning a lot. I've always been, focused on the value that I can bring to the planet. And that's important, was important at HomeAway, is super important at ZenBusiness. And, when I first started ZenBusiness, it was in the doing LLC formations. And, even early on, it was always, hey, we need to create a platform for small business because this is just a starting point. And, it has really become a very vivid and rich vision and a problem that really needs to be solved on the face of the planet as more and more people choose, leaving the yourself, Ben, leaving big corporate America and starting their own thing, whether it's a side hustle or they're taking a side hustle to, I'm going to hire employees. I've got enough revenue. There's a lot of complexity in there, and they need someone on their side that's focused on making them successful. And our mission is to unlock the entrepreneur in everyone, and we're passionate about it. We have a culture statement, which is we wake up every day asking the question, how can we make our customers more successful? That's it. And, as long as we stay focused on that, we'll build the right product and services to make them successful. And if they call us up and communicate with us in various forms, we're there for them.
What a cool mission to have. I talked about in another interview of businesses that involve others winning are amazing businesses.
We did surveys, of course, but we also surveyed the internet. I mean, people feel stuck in their jobs. I mean, they're miserable. I mean, as much as 75% of the folks out there working in a 9 to 5 are miserable about it. Some of them, it even affects their health. So this is more than just, uh, can I make more money? More money is at the top, but really money for them represents freedom, better health, better opportunities for themselves and their family. And many of them did a survey. We said, why did you take this leap into entrepreneurship that's fraught with danger? The number one reason was, hey, I wanted to make more money for my family and myself. The second reason was, I wanted to change the trajectory I'm on. I needed a change for myself. The third one was they wanted to change the world. They wanted to change the planet. They wanted to make an impact for everyone. That's amazing. We love to be behind that drive of our customers.
Yeah, it's an amazing mission again, and it's building for others to be successful is that's got to motivate you every single day.
It does. It does.
And when you started building ZenBusiness, less so or more so now than back when you started it, but there's a lot of companies building products specifically for startups. How did you decide what to build first?
Oh, this is an easy question. It goes back to our philosophy is, we surveyed our customers. I literally did the first survey monkey survey and, went out there and coarsely asked the customers. Much of that data is still consistent. I mean, at 98% consistent. So I'm just making the point to folks that you just have to ask and your customers will tell you what they want. That's how we decided what to build first. So what's great about entering their journey through an LLC is there's a high intent. They're like, when you did it, Ben, it wasn't like, hey, I'm going to go start an LLC for the hell of it. This is like, I'm making the commitment. I want to have legal protection. I want to get my taxes right. I want to do this right from the beginning and protect my personal assets. So however you figured that out, and we have lots of content on why you should do it. And there's lots of content out there. You made the right step. So with that high intent, then what's the next thing you need? Well, we surveyed our customers and we built that, and then the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So, we have a full suite of solutions from website, emails, domain, accounting, taxes, whole financial services of banking, invoicing, logos. The piece for us is that we're the building a platform where we're the system of record, and everything is so easy for our customer to add that next solution that they need. It's a few questions and a button, it's integrated, and they're ready to go with our support and the solution. So again, it's follow the customer, what they're asking for. And I think you have to have vision, of course, but it's got to be based on, it's not my job to create the ideal customer. It's my job to fulfill the customers that I have coming through the funnel, or go get some other customers. But it's that value exchange. What problem am I solving for them?
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty simple answer for that question. That's not the same answer for most people, but you just did what the customers asked for. I mean that's as easy as you can get.
And continue to, and that's what we want to continue to do. That's supported by a vision and a brand and a culture that has heart, right? Because you don't, I mean, we don't, you don't want to buy from a soulless company, I guess is maybe the way. You want to buy from a company and a brand that's committed to a vision that you're aligned with.
So in terms of validating an idea, going back to the earlier question, not only do customers have to pay for it, but they have to also, you have to know what they want, right? Like you have to, before you're asking them to pay money for something, you have to make sure it's actually something they want. There's so many companies out there that just kind of build products that are like, oh, this is a cool product. They don't even know the problem they're solving. They don't even know who their ICP is in the first place. So you obviously took the right approach in terms of who you were building for and what you were building.
Yeah, I mean, we did plenty of research and continue to do plenty of research. You have to research; it's too expensive not to. And the other thing, this is funny. I've said this before. I'll say it again. I've hired a lot of product people. We're a product company, an engineering company, innovation company, and many of us, including myself, has spent my career building software that no one uses. Right? You maybe you can relate to this. So we don't want to do that. Everything that we build, we want to have a pretty good shot that the customer is going to use it, even down to the feature and how they value it. Because we they might say they want it, but do they want it so much that they want to pay a price that we can produce that service at? So you have to take that into account also. So our goal is to never Now, it's not going to be perfect, but you want to get it as close as you can.
Nothing's ever perfect, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. 99% of businesses fail within the first year. I think it's 95, 99. I see different numbers all the time. Most companies fail in the first year that they actually start. And lasting businesses usually have a moat. Wondering what you would say ZenBusiness's moat is.
Well, I think number one mode is that we are building an integrated platform for the small business customer. So that's our number one, starting point and ending point. So that makes us the system of record for them. Everything that they do, every product that's integrated, it's all integrated into a single platform, which makes for a super easy for that customer experience. So it's product, it's customer experience, it's devotion to the customer. And as I said, waking up every day, how can we make you successful? And that shows up in, the survey results. We have the highest NPS in the industry. In fact, according to independent research, higher than all of our adjacent competitors. So, we really, really focus on service, both in the product that we build and in the actual, if folks call us up or email or chat, however they want to get to us, we're focused on them making successful. And that matters. You got to build a great product. That's the ultimate moat. And then the technology underneath it to support a great product. Well, that's what we've done.
It seems like it's been a really straightforward path. You're solving a problem that
Oh my God. On these interviews, I can sound smarter than I am because I've made all the mistakes. So don't get confused there, Ben. I mean, we had plenty of flopped products, but in hindsight, we've done okay. And I think if you stay close to these tenets of building value and exchanging value with your customers, it's hard to build and following the truth of what do they want. That makes for a good plan.
yeah, no, for sure. Obviously, it seems a lot more straightforward than it actually was. All the journeys, failed products, tests, all those, everything in between. And so, what's next for ZenBusiness?
Well, I think we had a big rollout of all of our banking. That's been very successful. So we're continuing to add on more and more services and continuing to add features to our services. We've had a big brand launch. Mark Cuban's our spokesperson. That's went fantastically. So just to continue to roll out products that our customers want and need. And in this segment of the small business space, and really ours starts with solopreneurs, folks with 5 or less employees. We certainly have companies bigger than that, but the majority of people starting small businesses are actually small businesses. There's an unlimited number of things that they need, from the website to taxes to accounting, banking, and we want to make that as simple. In marketing, how do they get? We're very, very focused on how do you get our customers to be successful? How do we get them to make their first dollar? Um, just more of that, Ben, and our customers keep asking for it, and we keep producing it.
That's amazing. Yeah, my last question. I'm going to give you an option of either telling us your favorite quote or something that most people disagree with you on.
Boy, that's I mean, I can't pick. I can't pick one quote. There's just too many. I do think that it's important to have a good mix of ideas and cultures and people in a company and a discussion, and we definitely have that at a Zen business. It used to be that I was a proponent in the old days of having this different voices at the table. Now it's become, I think, mainstream, and people see that having different voices at the table, uh, has it adds value. So I think just in general, I do have a view, and you can look. I'm on the board of a place called the Santa Fe Institute. I view the world as a set of complex adaptive systems, and certainly businesses are. So I'm always cautious about uh, jumping to a solution without having maybe a broader, more tempered view. So a lot of times I get asked in these podcasts, and this can be a contrarian, definitely a contrarian view. Hey, what was your best business book? And I think it's a bad question. And the reason I think the reason it's a bad question is that I don't think there's any one single dogma that you'd follow. You really need to think of your business as this complex adaptive system with all of these different agents working, and customers, and the economy, and your brand. I mean, they all work together. It's a pretty complicated system. Now, when you're digital marketing, there's CAC and LTV, these big agents that are out there and make work within the model, and are definitely stuff you pay very, very close attention to it. But we all know brand is a big piece. What's the brand? Or what are reviews on the ground? What are our customers saying to other customers? How is it? I have a firm belief that we treat customer support in our company not as a cost center, but as a pillar of the business. Tony Hsieh, God rest his soul, was an early investor in us. We have that mentality. We treat our customer success reps as number one employees in the company, because if we treat them that way, then they treat our customers great. That goes a long way. So how does that affect? Everyone says, yeah, that's great, Ross, it's working out fine. That seems obvious, but it doesn't seem obvious for a lot of companies. you know and how does that drive value into the customer, and how does it drive value into their peers, the people that are building the product at the company, or the culture of the company? So I like to have a broader view of everything that's going on in the company. And maybe I'm known I'm known to make pretty quick decisions when there's something that's urgent. I'm ready to take action, and certainly some of my executives hold me back, which is good. But I'm also willing to take a broader look at what's actually going on, and I think there's more things at play.
Yeah, that's a lot of contrarian views all in one. I really like that answer. Thank you. Yeah, Ross, I've really enjoyed this conversation. Really, thank you for the time. I wish you nothing but the best with Zen Business. I know how great a product it is myself, so I know you're destined for further success.
Thanks so much for having me, Ben. It's been a wonderful experience.
Thank you.